Hey all, welcome to my channel. I actually recorded this yesterday. Turns out I inadvertently posted it to another different channel, and as a result, I deleted it from my machine and such. I don't know how to transfer videos from one channel to another, so I'm just doing it over again. Basically, so what you see here basically is no more different what it was. Just going to be talking about yesterday's upsets more than anything else, to be quite honest. Nothing more than that outside of that, actually. As you see, Thursday, if you saw Thursday, it was an upset. There was a couple of upsets, but one of the big upsets on Thursday, of course, was the biggest one of all was at the time of Thursday was Princeton beating Arizona. That was a surprise, I think, by all means. I don't think anyone assumed um, that Arizona would lose to Princeton like that. Um, and let's not forget Arizona. What they did, it was pretty impressive what they did basically, and how they beat them out in that situation. Of course, Arizona kind of threw off my bracket, unfortunately, because I had them in the Final Four, unfortunately. So I realized, all right, I lost that part, but maybe I could get three out of the four basically, and with the winner at that point as well too, hopefully. So that was one of the big upsets. That was on Thursday. Of course, on Friday, the biggest upset of all was number 16 seed Fairleigh Dickinson University beating the Boilermakers, Purdue. That threw me off. I think that threw a bunch of people off. Barkley, during the recap, said, like, you know what? It was the way FDU was playing that the Boilermakers had no choice but to didn't adjust. They did not adjust how FDU played basically, and so because of that, because they didn't know how to adjust, they were going to lose anyways. Honestly, he felt honestly that they probably could have gotten out of the first round, but around the 32, they would not get out basically. So in that situation, the Purdue loss was a big one, and it was a big one for me because that was also my Final Four, as well as the fact was I had them as winners as well too. So my bracket's pretty much busted at this point because of the fact that Purdue and Arizona lost. So there's no purpose for me winning my bracket with anyone else that's on my that I'm playing against. So I'm not even going to bother. But one of the other big upsets that was there basically was this. Basically is where to go? Oh, sorry. This big upset, of course, was Arkansas beating out number one Kansas. Now that's a big upset because one of the factors is because let's not forget Kansas was the reigning champion. A few of their starters from last year are back. Um, they had a deep talent. It was surprising that they had lost like this. I don't think anyone foresaw Arkansas beating Kansas in the round of 32. Basically, it's it was impressive from out of the gate how Arkansas was playing. I think it might have busted up quite a number of people's brackets as well too, to be quite honest. Because I mean, honestly, I would have put Kansas in the Final Four. Quite honestly, maybe even potentially winning it, but I don't think they were going to win it. Honestly, on my end, I thought they were just going to lose. But in any case, they lost. It was not something that was anticipated. So as the tournament progresses, we're seeing more and more surprises than before, basically. But of course, I think the bigger upset of yesterday, outside of Arkansas beating Kansas, was more of this one, Princeton. The fact that they beat Arizona and then they beat Missouri, the way they beat out Missouri as well too, is a surprising factor too. Because one of the things is the Princeton Tigers beating out the Tigers of Missouri. It's a case where like these are basically they did not let up on the lead. Basically, Princeton did. At the halftime they were leading, and by the point you thought for sure that Miz would probably come back and like make it a closer game, but they didn't, which was a surprise. And the fact is, like the way Princeton is playing, it's really surprising. Now the question is like they're in the Sweet 16. The way they're playing, I think they become the new Cinderella team, of course, of this tournament. And now the question is like, do we think that they can actually advance to the Final Four? It's hard to say because the next team is most likely going to be Baylor. I mean, honestly, let's be honest, Baylor's probably going to be sorry, going to be advancing. So that's a bit of a surprise. But I think the other bigger surprise is this is an Ivy League team, basically. Princeton is an Ivy League team. Quite honestly, I don't think we would have seen Princeton coming out, maybe beating, maybe getting into the final, in the round of 32. But the Sweet 16, I don't think anyone got them going that far. Basically, quite honestly, this is Princeton, and not to take anything away, but it's a bunch of white guys. Quite honestly, I think everyone in the nation is like, what? Anyways, not to diminish the players themselves, but like, I mean, there are white boys that can't play really well too. Let's not forget that. But in this situation, like, these are Ivy Leaguers. These are guys that are not heavily recruited out of high school to play college ball because Ivy League doesn't really give scholarships for players. So these are true student athletes. Where in most cases, a lot of them would be athlete students. In this case, it's student athletes. The question comes down to is like, how good, how far can Princeton go? I mean, quite honestly, Bill Bradley must be like thrilled beyond belief. Of course, I mean, like, Bill Bradley being a Princeton alum and of course being a former Knick as well too, a former All Star as well too. To be quite honest, this is a case where I think the fact that Princeton, if they are able to beat Baylor, look for them to actually make it to probably the Final Four, I would say. Because honestly, well, actually, I don't think the Final Four because, of course, they got to go against Alabama. And I don't think they're going to upset Alabama. I mean, in this situation, I think a lot of people know that Alabama is a favored team to win the entire tourney, or at least to make sure to get in the Final Four. I thought maybe Arizona might have been that one team that actually could have taken them out, possibly, but it looks like they didn't. Well, first off, they didn't even get past the round of 64. But in any case, here's to looking at Princeton. Here's to hoping that they go far. Hopefully, they can get to this Elite Eight. That would be great if they could get to the Elite Eight. If they can get to the Final Four, that'd be even great. Heck, I think, like I said, I think this team would be the true underdog, unless, of course, Fairleigh Dickinson wins out today's game, which I don't see that happening. But if Princeton does get to the Final Four, they will be, or if they get to the Elite Eight, they will be the nation's Cinderella team. I think everyone will be rooting for them at that point, too, to be quite honest. But in any case, it's a surprise, basically. Don't be surprised after later on today, me posting up another video of today's results as well, too, to be quite honest. But with that, if you haven't subscribed, of course, please subscribe and, leave some comments in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Princeton will win? Who do you think will win? Which team did you have winning? And did your team actually lose as a result? Did your brackets bust, or are you still in play? Basically, at this point, to chances of winning your bracket, winning the tourney in the bracket, your bracket, basically. But again, let me know your thoughts. Again, leave your comments. I do read my comments and I do respond to them. Like or dislike, it's up to you. I'm not going to say please like, honestly. But I do ask, like, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I will post up more stuff. And as well as the more subscribers, if I can get to whatever the bare minimum to essentially live stream from my phone device, it would be great. Because one of the things was I was at an Islanders game and I wanted to live stream the game, but I couldn't because I was on my phone. My phone doesn't have the ability to live stream. You can only live stream from your laptop, unfortunately. So with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.